Good evening and welcome to the Macquarie Park Summit 2023. My name is Charlotte Stratton and I am the Chair of Connect Macquarie Park Innovation District, also known as CMPID. We certainly needed to shorten that. I'd like to officially commence the formal proceedings by acknowledging that we are gathering on the lands of the Wadawurrung people of the Darug Nation, whose cultures, customs and knowledge have been nourishing and nurturing Macquarie Park since the Dreamtime. I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, and extend that welcome and respect to any First Nations people joining us. I'd also like to extend my welcome to the Kari Foundation, who will shortly be performing a very special acknowledgement and welcome to country. On behalf of the Board of Directors of CMPID, I would like to welcome esteemed guests here in person, including elected representatives and leaders from our local, state and federal government, industry and academia. I would also like to welcome our live stream audience who are dialing into Macquarie Park Summit from across New South Wales and beyond. Just a few things to note, this event is being recorded and is live streamed, and there is a roaming photographer taking some snaps throughout the proceedings. As you may know, every year, CMPID brings the Macquarie Park community together to track the progress of our innovation district. Last year, we heard about the 20-year master plan for Macquarie Park, adopted by the New South Wales government. This year's summit theme is All Change, Macquarie Park, with a focus on the significant momentum happening on the ground right now. For example, a few weeks ago, a test Sydney Metro train travelled slowly beneath Sydney Harbour, connecting Macquarie Park directly to the city for the first time. And when that is next year, the journey from Barangaroo direct to Macquarie Park will be just 18 minutes. It will also strengthen connections to and from Sydney Airport, opening up Macquarie Park Innovation District to interstate and international visitors, tech and business communities. This connectivity will be a game changer for Macquarie Park, providing greater exposure to our new workplaces of the future, to our expanded deep tech incubator, and to New South Wales' first RNA manufacturing facility. And if you will indulge me for just a moment, wearing my Stockland hat, we were very excited to celebrate the topping out of our first workplace building at the M Park Innovation Precinct last month. This activity is all happening right here in Australia's original innovation district. As the summit theme may suggest, you'll hear more from our speakers tonight about why Macquarie Park is a place where your business and our broader community can truly thrive. CMPID is delighted to be your host this evening and to provide a platform for our community to share in its success. For those of you unfamiliar with CMPID, we're a unique association of leading local employers, landowners, government agencies, and Macquarie University representatives. Our members work together to create connections across our communities to foster innovative workplaces and to advance Macquarie Park as a world-leading innovation district. So now for the sales pitch. If your organisation isn't yet a member of CMPID, I would encourage you to become one and to join our community of leaders. Shortly, we will share a short video welcome from Professor S. Bruce Dowton, Vice Chancellor and President of Macquarie University. But before we do this, I would like to introduce the Kari Foundation singers. Our venue hosts, Optus, have partnered with the Foundation since 2021, and the Kari's Foundation mission is to strengthen community and create meaningful connections and Aboriginal culture and achievements. So to help us acknowledge the country we are on, Blake, Jasmine, Monique and Tanaya from the Foundation Singers will perform I Am Australian in Darug language. So on behalf of Connect Macquarie Park Innovation District, thank you for joining us at the Macquarie Park Summit 2023. I hope you enjoy the event and please now join in welcoming the Kari Foundation Singers to the stage.
As we all gather here today, it is important to acknowledge the land that we stand upon and its traditional custodians. We recognise our continuing culture through connection to country, place and people. Below the asphalt and buildings, there once lay the greenest grass and the richest soils of the oldest living culture in the world. We share the stage today, connected not by tribe, but by culture, friendship and love. Together, we pay our respects to elders, past, present and emerging, for they hold the memories, traditions and hopes of Aboriginal Australia. We extend that respect to all Aboriginal people here today. Remember, this land we all share is, was and always will be Aboriginal land.
came from the dream time, from the dusty red soil plains. I am the ancient heart, keeper of the flame. The Stood up on the rocky shore, we watched the tall ships come. For 40,000 years, we've been the first Australia. Everyone, if you know the words, sing along with us, please. We are one, but we are many, and from all the lands on earth we come. I know you know this, sing with us. We share our dream and sing with one voice. I am, you are, we are Australia. I am, you are, we are Australia. Nyagam, Winten, you come Australia. Thank you so much.
Hello, I'm Bruce Dowton, the Vice Chancellor and President of Macquarie University, and I'm delighted to offer you a welcome to the Macquarie Park Summit today. I'm particularly pleased that so many are able to attend today's summit. It's an important convergence of the leaders and senior officers of companies, organisations and industries across the park, along with the university. There's been a lot happening at Macquarie University over the last little while, and we certainly have a number of initiatives that are aimed to be very convergent with the needs of a modern innovation district. Macquarie Park and the university share a singular history in being part of this region, the first innovation district in Australia, in fact. A number of initiatives, as I mentioned, are underway at the university or have recently been announced, which really do have the potential to play an important role in further converging the interests of all of us involved in Macquarie Park. A couple of examples of those include the recent announcement by the New South Wales government of the construction of a $96 million mRNA pilot vaccine facility on the university campus. This is a very exciting initiative which will bring together science, industry, research and innovation in a way that enables sovereign capability to be maintained to provide treatments for emerging diseases that might affect mankind or agricultural industries. A very exciting initiative and a real partnership between government, industry and the university. Also, you may have recently seen the announcement that the Woolcock Institute for Medical Research is relocating their operations to Macquarie University campus. The Woolcock Institute is the world's premier institute conducting research in sleep and respiratory disorders. And we are delighted to welcome them to the Macquarie University family and indeed to Macquarie Park. The university has also recently opened a deep tech incubator, expanding our incubation facilities for new companies on the university campus. That is a very exciting initiative, and we look forward to working with many of you with opportunities to be part of the deep tech incubator. Again, a warm welcome to you on behalf of Macquarie University, one of the major stakeholders in the Macquarie Park area. I hope you have a very productive day, and I'm sure you will, and I look forward to continuing to work very closely with all the organisations, industries across the Macquarie Park. Thank you and my best wishes.
Certainly great to hear from the university. We do have a slight amendment to our planned program this evening. Dr. Cathy Foley, Australia's chief scientist, has sent her deepest apologies, but due to a family emergency, by its nature, it's very last minute, she is unable to join us. We consider Dr. Foley part of the Macquarie Park family, having completed her undergraduate and PhD at Macquarie University. So we really hope that we'll be able to hear from Dr. Foley another time. We'll certainly change our program a little bit in terms of the fireside chat. We'll get a little bit larger and a little bit longer. But for now, I have the opportunity to introduce a short video that showcases some of the key developments that are going on at the park. And it'll give us a chance really to better understand some of the great projects that are really coming to life right now. Hand over to that.
MQX4 behind me is the first stage of 4 buildings that make up our 83,000 square metre Macquarie Exchange redevelopment of the Macquarie Park Station Precinct. MQX is providing market-leading office accommodation and retail amenity. The building is being powered with 100% renewable power, effectively carbon neutral in operations. The building offers amenity including outstanding end-of-trip facilities, rooftop terraces, and an on-site gym, and this large central park for enjoying your lunch or a morning coffee. All this adjacent to the metro and over 30 bus routes on site with on-site car parking and car share, making MQX an outstanding addition to the Macquarie Park landscape. As you can see, MQX4 is now available for access and we're busily fitting out our first tenancies. We look forward to being able to officially open MQX4 in the coming months and welcoming more leading businesses to the Macquarie Park area.
Just behind me is the Michael Kirby building. It's the new law school at Macquarie University. It'll be completed by the end of this year and ready for opening in 2024, and we can't wait. So at Macquarie Law School, we really value interactive ways of teaching. Floating over the entrance to the law school, an amazing round moot court, which is where students go to learn how to be lawyers in a courtroom. Our PACE students at the moment work with a really diverse range of industry, from law firms through to the ASX, through to human rights organisations. So we want industry to come into our new law building, to engage with our researchers, to work with our students, and to help realise that vision of Macquarie University being at the cutting edge of what's happening. It's going to be a beautiful glass and timber, very open feel. It'll open to Wally's Walk, to the trees and the beautiful environment of Macquarie University.
Today, Stockland is celebrating the topping out of our first commercial building at MPark. This is an exciting step that brings us closer to delivering Stockland's flagship innovation precinct. Centred around an activated green space, MPark will deliver a workplace that offers indoor and outdoor spaces, providing more choice to our customers on how they wish to work. Guided by our global award-winning architects 3XN and Crofi, MPark offers our community much more. MPark has been designed to respond to the changing workplace principles by providing more opportunities and collaboration and employee well-being. With significant public and private investment in Macquarie Park and the world-leading Macquarie University at its heart, MPark is a place where business and research can come together, share ideas and create opportunities. We look forward in welcoming our customers to MPark and our workplace of the future.
John Holland is embarking on the next steps of the already established Macquarie Square precinct, where work connects with wellbeing, outdoors connects with indoors, and innovation connects with sustainability. One of the highlights of the precinct is the creation of Catherine Hemlin Park, providing an abundant outdoor space with workout facilities and child play areas for all to enjoy. The new Sydney Metro line, set to open in 2024, will provide seamless connectivity to the Sydney CBD in less than 20 minutes, creating a highly connected campus-style experience. Macquarie Square's A-grade office spaces, complemented by premium end-of-trip facilities and ground floor retail fronting the new Catherine Hemlin Park, is fully equipped to meet the changing needs of future tenants. With Macquarie Square, we envisage a thriving and dynamic community where today connects with tomorrow and it all happens seamlessly.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Steve Ball and I head up the property development at BaptistCare. Thank you for having us, and we are super excited to be partnering with Connect MPID. Some of you would know BaptistCare more than others. For those who don't, we're a leading for-purpose Christian-based organisation serving aged people and people living with disadvantage since 1944. We've also been in Macquarie Park for a very long time. We established here in 1962, and we've been thriving with our communities and our residents since that time. We have 3 homes, residential care homes, a retirement village, and other wraparound services. We care for our residents on a daily basis, and we wake up with the vision of every individual living well every day. We have a wonderful family, and we've forged beautiful relationships with our residents. Unfortunately, the buildings that have served our community on site for the last 60 years, served our purpose, our vision, and our values, just cannot last forever, as much as we would like them to. This reality has resulted in some difficult decisions for BaptistCare to renew our place and prepare for the future. The existing low-density horizontal seniors community will transform over the coming years. It will transform to a mixed-use, vibrant, vertical precinct that will offer much more than just seniors living, and hopefully will be a place where everyone is welcome. To make this possible, BaptistCare has commenced the relocation of Willandra Village, which is the retirement village located on the lower portion of our site. Residents are currently being supported by BaptistCare to relocate off-site to a new location, a location that will suit their needs for their journey ahead. BaptistCare has also been engaging with staff, customers, residents, and their families for a number of years in preparation for these changes. We consider the renewal of this place a very special opportunity for us to do well for our future customers and residents, to do well for the future community of Macquarie Park, and of course to do well for BaptistCare. We know that our site is one of the few sites of its size and its position in the Macquarie Park precinct, and we've taken those responsibilities seriously as we prepare our development application. Our development application has been lodged and is in that assessment process. Our proposal provides for seniors and aged, as well as affordable housing, addressing 2 of the most pressing issues in Australia today. Although difficult uses to develop and even more difficult to operate, I'm sure you've read about that, BaptistCare holds the social return on investment amongst its key priorities. We believe this is a true mixed-use, state-significant and regionally significant development. We think the density proposed is balanced and promotes a vibrant community with authentic intergenerational merits, and ultimately a place that mixed size of open and green space can support community. The first stage of renewal is a combined retirement and aged care vertical building that will hold a retirement village and a residential aged care. We're hoping to commence that in 2025 and be operational by 2029. The future stages will follow and will include a variety of things: education, build to rent, retail and commercial, allied health, student housing, build to sell apartments, as well as further stages of vertical integrated seniors living. The renewal will commence with the construction of the vertical village comprising 150 retirement living apartments and a 96 residential care home with integrated hotel services including gym, hairdresser, cafe and restaurants, to name a few, promoting an aging in place and a continuum of care and clinical services for people as they age. This master plan has been planned to maximise open space and promote community, a place by day and by night. Our approach has been focused on minimising environmental impacts and remaining connected with country. We are driving our commitment to every individual living well by providing 20% of all accommodation on site as affordable housing. Our truly intergenerational focus will mean that this is a place for everyone, no matter your age or your needs. BaptistCare believes we can do our part to boost Greater Sydney's livability, productivity and sustainability with smart design and a clever vision for Macquarie Park. Thank you for listening, and we look forward to returning with an update on where we're up to, because we think this is an extremely exciting piece of the future Macquarie Park puzzle. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Hi, my name is Maja Paleka. I'm a co-founder of an organization and a startup out of Macquarie University Incubator, and I'll be the host of the Fireside Chat for tonight. Maybe we'll start with introducing ourselves, if that is all right. Could you tell us a little bit about who you are, what your organization does within the district, and what your role is? I can start with myself, if you like. Hi, Maja. Thanks very much for the opportunity to be here this evening. I'm Katrina Avery. I'm the Director of Partnerships at Macquarie University, and I lead the partnerships team at the university. And we are essentially the front door for industry and government to connect, engage, and partner with the university, whatever that might look like to you. And we have a team of partnership managers who will reach out across the university to bring together the team that you need, the people that you need to create the solution and the partnership that you're looking for. So that could include a concoction of research opportunities, of research and innovation opportunities together, of course. It can also include teaching and learning opportunities. So we're looking to train the workforce of the future. So that means creating opportunities for our students to get real-world experience working within organisations, absolutely here in the park, but also beyond as well, whether that be industry or indeed government. But we're also looking to ensure that they have jobs for the future as well, and that industry and organisations can continue to attract and retain the people that they need, that have the skills that they need for the future as well. But we're also looking to work with organisations that are keen to co-locate and physically share the space that is Macquarie Park with us as a university. So that's where I fit in the world at the university. So pleasure to be here. Thanks.
Hello, everyone. I'm Wayne Rylands. I'm the Chief Executive Officer at the City of Ryde. My career has been all about local government. It's been all about local communities. It's been about connecting with businesses like yourselves that are here tonight. It's been about connecting with our community. It's all about being that glue that brings us all together. So I've sort of made it my life ambition to get to a position like this where I can help to guide the council in being able to be that connection for all of you to get you all together. So we're very much about having a team, including I notice a fair few of our councillors here tonight, to be that listening device for you to tell us what your issues are and how we can work with you to bring you together to make us the best place possible. So that's just a little bit. I'm sure we'll go into a little bit more detail.
Hi everyone, my name's Chris Hanger. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the Greater Cities Commission. We're the state government agency responsible for undertaking the strategic planning and setting the vision for the 6 cities. If you don't know the 6 cities, they are Newcastle, the Central Coast, the Greater Sydney Basin and Wollongong. So ours is the agency that is going to set the vision for those places for the next 50 odd years. In terms of the innovation districts, you are critical in how we look at making sure we have the jobs for the people of the 6 cities. And importantly for the 6 cities, we need to make sure that jobs, housing and infrastructure are connected. Key conversations we want to have is how we, in our role in the Greater Cities Commission, can help work with community as represented by council, industry as represented here, the key institutions like the universities, to make sure that innovation districts such as Macquarie Park, but also across the 6 cities, the ecosystem of innovation that is going to be needed to help this place be successful, that we can help bring together those organisations, contribute where we need to, but very importantly, stand back and let others lead where required, where they are better placed. So really looking forward to the discussion.
Thank you very much. And Chris, I might stay with you and get you to start us off on this one, but we'd love to hear from everybody. Physical geographies are complex and sometimes the progress can seem a little bit slow. What are some of the things that government can do to make Macquarie Park a world-leading innovation district? What are some of the things that it can help with, and how do we make those opportunities visible?
So a couple of things. You've already seen reference to metro stations and investments in RNA technology that will occur here. Those are really critical, obviously, to help continue the innovation journey that Macquarie Park has been on. The other things that I think all levels of government can be quite helpful at doing, but particularly state government, is bringing the coordinating and collaboration functions not just within place but across place, and assisting with connections at different levels of government where required, especially in our case thinking about connections with the federal government and thinking about connections internationally.
Yeah, from a council point of view, as far as Macquarie Park goes, we've seen ourselves for quite an amount of time actually being an innovation district. So, you know, from the time that the university came here in the 1960s, and a lot of the business that moved into this area in that time, we actually were Australia's original innovation district. And I suppose what's happening right now is that we're looking at that reinvention of how we keep moving as an innovation district, how we build on the types of business that are already here. So as a council, we want to help facilitate the additional business that we want to see in this area to keep us in the whole city ecosystem of being that place of innovation. It's why we're very serious about partnering very closely with the university. We're very serious about partnering with a lot of the business, and we're very serious about partnering with the property owners, large property owners, because there's not a small block of land that exists in Macquarie Park, and that's part of that reinvention now is looking at how those spaces reinvent themselves and how we bring the right types of companies in that are going to keep that innovation happening. So for us, it's very much about how we can help to grow what is already here.
And I think from a university perspective, and indeed that kind of broader partnership agenda across all arms of, what we see here today on the stage, I think what's really critical to an innovation district being successful is connection and collaboration. And I think it's connection to place, and I think it's connection to people. And it's also connection to great ideas, but importantly, the significant ideas that are going to take us forward. So I think from a government perspective, we see those core thematic priorities being set there at the federal government, from a federal government perspective, but we want to be seeing that carried through at the New South Wales state government perspective too, and indeed locally through council as well. And I think that then filters through to what the priorities are here for us in place here at Macquarie Park. And I think the collaboration piece is important too, because the success is really down to that. We need all of those different perspectives, all of those contributions coming together. It's one thing for a university to operate here and a corporate institution over here and council over here and government over there, but really we need to be in concert with what those priorities are. And we need to create physical and tangible opportunities for that collaboration. So the university, we're creating the Deep Tech Incubator. We've seen that here profiled today. That's a fantastic opportunity for us to be bringing together ideas and innovations, but actually bringing the outside world in as well for the university and for more broadly the community as well. But accessibility is important too when we think about connection. We want to make it easy for people to be here, to operate here, to work here successfully, but also to get here. And I think the metro line, physical accessibility, enable people to get across the park, but also get to the park and get away from the park as well, because then our community becomes bigger than the place that's right here now. So we bring the wider sort of Sydney arena into the fore too, which is also really exciting. So
yeah, absolutely. And I keep on thinking that, summits like these really are an important part of that visibility as well, because it's a really good opportunity to bring people together to create some of that visibility when a lot of things can be happening sort of in isolation and not everyone's sort of across it. So creating that community that comes from situations like this. So Katrina, you talked a lot about collaboration. I think that's really, really important. The Innovation District is full of very different people, startups like us, the university, obviously, corporates, government, all that type of stuff. I'd love to hear, Wayne, from you and Chris from you, in terms of what does that successful collaboration look like, and why is it important?
Chris. It is important because everyone has a unique role to play in making places like Macquarie Park successful. I was enormously impressed with the fact that you highlighted Stephen and BaptistCare's work. This is successful because you have a range of players and the community that sits around them. From a state government perspective, the challenges that we have in a housing context, and that's across a whole spectrum of different housing, affordable housing, housing in any space, to be honest, but also aged care. And as we think about our communities, the collaboration that is required as we think from a state government perspective about strategic planning, about the jobs that those people will need, the schools that their children will need, and the spaces that their parents need. None of us can do that on our own. We all have unique roles to play, and we need to know how that changes through the maturity cycle of an innovation district. From a government point of view, we can catalyse, but often we then need to step back and let others lead.
Yeah, thanks. Chris, what Chris was just saying is true. From a certain perspective, we need to make sure that we do have all that housing being the different types. So from the build to sell, build to rent, affordable housing, some social housing, and obviously aged care facilities. The other thing for us in the council really is around the jobs and ensuring that our vision for the area, which is to have the lifestyle and opportunity at your doorstep, part of that would mean that you really need to have the jobs in the area. So we saw from some of the presentations earlier a lot about the additional commercial space that's coming into this precinct. What we need to make sure is that commercial space is being taken up by companies that are quite innovative, that will be able to leverage in with the university and with ourselves and with other business around the whole ecosystem of Sydney to improve our lot across the whole city. But specifically Macquarie Park, if you look at some of those pictures from earlier on, you can see the potential that Macquarie Park actually has to do some of that sort of heavy lifting for not just Sydney, but for me, for New South Wales and Australia, what we can actually bring if we look at growing the pie of jobs that are in here. We saw that, somewhere around 72,000 jobs now. We'd like to see that grow significantly, in the next 10 or 15 years. So the Macquarie Park Place strategy talks about Macquarie Park being the fourth largest CBD in Australia by 2030. So in less than 10 years, we're going to grow to that. What we as a council and government need to do is make sure that we're continuing that on well past that time frame. So we need to make sure that we get momentum in that place. And as a council, we're looking at shaping a team that can assist in that space. We're looking at all of the different functions that are required to make our city successful. And by that, we mean Macquarie Park.
Yeah, it is incredible. And, as just a participant in the ecosystem, we definitely, as a small startup starting out of the incubator, have seen the incredible collaboration that comes out of it. And then for us, the opportunity, right? We're working with the universities. We've been able to connect to the corporates in the environment, to local government. And it's made a really big difference and really encouraging and very exciting for us to sort of see that continued collaboration across. So what's next? What's next for you, for your role and for your organisation within the district itself? Do you want to kick us off, Chris?
So the Greater Cities Commission, we are writing region and city level plans. They are the vision for the 6 cities that I've talked about until sort of probably about the middle of this century. Innovation districts, places like Macquarie Park are going to be critical to that. We have in the short term, as everyone would read every day on the newspaper, a housing crisis in front of us. We are about to face an absolute spike in migration. We are expecting, from what we're hearing from the Commonwealth, probably 600,000 to 700,000 people over the next couple of years are going to come in. 60% of those people come into Sydney. Those people need houses. Those people need jobs. Many people around here will be competing already for talent. So for us, using the region and city plans that are being developed and will be consulted over the second half of this year to engage industry, to engage community, to work with local councils about how do we ensure that we take full advantage of the opportunities that are there. Everyone would acknowledge we haven't done things as well as we could. How can we reconnect the infrastructure needed for growth? How do we ensure that the jobs are there for people, and how do we make sure that the mix of housing is right so that the people who are growing up in Sydney can afford to buy here? And again, I come back and I'm really proud that Macquarie Park does this with BaptistCare, that people can age in place. So that's the work that we're doing. The conversations that we will have in places like Macquarie Park over the next couple of months as we pull those plans together are going to be critical to make sure we're getting the input that's needed to get those strategies right.
Yeah, so again, Chris has taken us on the beginning, I think, of what is a lot longer journey. So again, if we look at the fact that we've heard that somewhere like 700,000 people will be moving into the country in the next couple of years. We've also heard about a big Australia that by 2056 that we're probably going to be approaching 50 million people. So this is just the beginning, the tip of an iceberg of how many people will be coming into Australia to set it up as their home. So City of Ryde, already very, very multicultural. We have something like 73 languages that are spoken in City of Ryde already. And I've been to a number of citizenships in the last 6 months where we've seen a lot of different people coming into the country. And what we're realising is our social demographics are changing, that we're seeing a lot of people from Southeast Asia, we're seeing a lot of people from the subcontinent moving into this area. And so what we need to do is start thinking about what that's going to mean for that housing, the way that those families interact, the way that they do like to be in those communities. So our city is changing with that. And as a council, we've realised we needed to change with that. We needed to rethink the way that we are moving forward and what we can provide for our communities, not just now. We still need to make sure that we're looking after our community now, but we need to ensure as well that we're planning for communities well off into the future. And I've said this to a number of people that are probably even in the room tonight. Those buildings that we're putting in now will be here for at least the next 50 years, some of them possibly up to 100 years. So those buildings are going to be the cornerstones of what our society here will be for that period of time. And we need to make sure that, as well as having all those houses and that different mix, that again, we're making sure that we're providing all of those other parts of what makes people's lifestyles. So jobs is one part, but also the other things, you know, the open space, the connectivity. We've heard earlier how we'll be able to get into the Sydney CBD within 18 minutes once that part of the metro is finished. We also know that we can get out to the Western Sydney Airport in less than an hour once that part of the metro is finished, and we can get the little missing link between St Mary's and Tallawong. We know that over 30% of the employees that come and work in the City of Ryde live out in those Blacktown and those Penrith LGAs. So we need to make sure that there's those sorts of connectivities that are happening to ensure that all of this growth that's going on, not just in Macquarie Park and the City of Ryde, but in Sydney, that we've got the right sorts of connectivity and we've got the right sorts of mixes of how development's happening in all of these areas. So the residential is a part of it, but we want to make sure that we are seeing the commercial and the jobs, and from that flows your retail, flows your nighttime sorts of activities, flows that 24/7 economy. So for us as a council, we've seen that as important to make sure that we're here to work with you to plan for those futures.
Thank you. And I think from a university perspective, it's really about sort of bringing all of that together, right? I mean, as a university, we want to ensure that we're making multi-dimensional, meaningful connections and impact within this local community that is the Innovation District. And I think there are a few perspectives to that. There's the physical part of it. You know, I mean, we have this incredible campus. I mean, if you haven't seen the campus, please do come and have a look. It's an amazing place to be. And it truly is a community in its own right, but it really is increasingly becoming a hub of activity and life, I think, for the Innovation District. We see a lot of corporates coming and enjoying the space that is the university and really truly being part of what it is that we have to offer. And I think too, then if you look at the research and innovation perspectives, we've of course got the new mRNA facility that has recently been announced, and that's a big development for the university in partnership, of course, with government and with industry as well. That's really significant. But we also have, again, the deep tech community that we are creating, and Melissa Ryan and colleagues too from the incubator and our research and innovation community and executive team at the university as well. And we have the incubator. I mean, the incubator in and of itself, you can speak really well to that, Maja. I mean, it's a fantastic place, both physically and virtually, and it is a really important part of bringing that community together. And then we've, of course, got the learning and teaching dimension, and that's really about education and employability right through an individual's life cycle. If we're to look at those pillars of success for an innovation district, you know, we've talked about taking an individual right through their lifetime. It's not just about creating a workforce, it's about creating a true community, families, individuals, you know, children right from the early stages, right through to the aged community, and ensuring that we're playing a role in all of that. And we can do that through research. We can also do that through creating a workforce that's developing and really tangibly getting experience with the relevant skills to be able to do that.
Thank you very much, everyone. Really, really appreciate your thoughts and your insights. The complexity is not going away by any means. We can definitely tell. But the opportunity is really in that collaboration, I think. And that is for us, you know, and I know for everyone in the district, very, very exciting. So thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for referring.
Thank you.
G'day everyone, my name's Jerome Laxale. I'm the member for Bennelong. I'm so sorry I can't be with you for the Macquarie Park Summit in person. This week is Budget Week, a really important week in federal parliament, and it's been almost a year since the election of a new federal Labor government. And since it's become my privilege to represent Bennelong and Macquarie Park in Canberra. In that time, I've spent a lot of time in and out of Macquarie Park hearing from organisations like yours about plans including Macquarie University. I've heard from Abbott, I've heard from Sanofi, Optus. I mean, I've got a list as long as my arm. It's just been so great to connect with people who I've met in my time as Mayor and Councillor, but also connect with some people involved, particularly in the medical and pharmaceutical industry. Of course, in Canberra, we refer to Macquarie Park as Pill Hill. It's an essential part of Australia's economic ecosystem. As the biggest non-CBD office market and Australia's original innovation district, it's clear that Macquarie Park is a hive of activity. 72,000 high-value jobs, 45,000 students, and 11,000 residents and growing who now call Macquarie Park home. It's a hive of activity, and I'm so thankful to have it as part of a Bennelong electorate. And it's also clear that Macquarie Park is growing. We've got the extension of the Sydney Metro, which is coming, which will be an absolute game changer for residents and workers getting in and out of Macquarie Park. We've got cutting-edge facilities at Macquarie University, the expansion of the Macquarie Centre, and of course, workplaces of the future opening up each and every day. In the past year, I've been so fortunate to bring key ministers here into Bennelong to engage with really important stakeholders. I've had the Prime Minister visit a number of times, Health Minister Mark Butler, and Foreign Minister Penny Wong. They all see Bennelong as a crucial part to a growing Australian economy, and they've all been struck by the really important collaboration that happens here, the significance of your innovation credentials, and the wealth of important jobs and opportunities you offer to people of Bennelong and beyond. I'd like to recognise the ambition the community in Macquarie Park has for itself, and the collaborative work of Connect Macquarie Park Innovation District in helping to lead that. It's clear that Macquarie Park is perfectly placed to grow even further, both in size and significance. And when a community is bold, when it's ambitious and coordinated like Macquarie Park is, it's easy for government to back it so that together we can attract further success. You see that in the introduction of legislation last year that was supported by both Houses of Parliament in the National Reconstruction Fund. We need manufacturing back in Australia. And with a $15 billion fund, with $1.5 billion set aside for advanced medical manufacturing, we're a government that believes in Macquarie Park and the innovation of many industries that are located right here. Maybe you have an idea that could help improve Macquarie Park, or a question about the federal government's plans to support the area. You're more than welcome to get in touch with me, email, phone, fax, posts, social media, whatever it takes. Pull me alongside at a shopping centre and say hello, because I support the vision for Macquarie Park to become a world-leading innovation district, and look forward to working with you all to help achieve its immense potential. Thank you.
Fax. So for all of you in the medical industry, that's how you get in touch with our federal member. It was great to hear from him today. I'm Mark Ames. I'm the General Manager of Connect Macquarie Park Innovation District. We're your hosts this evening, and I have to say I'm delighted to see so many of you here in person at Optus today, and indeed so many of you joining us online, not just in New South Wales, but from across Australia and beyond. Of course, it wasn't that long ago that none of us could do this, get together in person. We were all underneath health orders, and very few of us indeed were coming to Macquarie Park at all. And that thing, I think, makes this event and our ability to bring the community together all the more important. As soon as those health orders lifted last year, our members across the park were picking up the phone and calling me and saying, what is the new normal now in Macquarie Park? Despite industry leaders reading all of the white papers that were out there and all of the industry gossip that was going on, nobody had any actual data as to understand what was going on. And that's where I think Connect MPID's unique and collaborative approach really came in handy. Our model paid dividends. In response to our members' request, we put together an extensive survey of the park called Ask Macquarie Park, which was shared widely to help create a new data benchmark of what's going on here today. And in the years ahead, we will continue that process so that we can understand how our park is growing and evolving over the years. Our members shared that survey within their own workplaces, on posters in kitchens, on screens in lobbies. Our subscribers were invited to get involved, and commuters at metro stations who were probably trying to hurry home at the end of the day were cornered by our campaign team who canvassed them for their opinion. And in total, 1,250 people gave us their views. So, what did we discover from them? In the few moments that we have together tonight, I'd like to share an overview of Macquarie Park's post-pandemic demographic, who we are today, and where we're going next. 61% of people who work in Macquarie Park are female. Women are overrepresented in the cohort of people who both work and study here, and in the cohort of people who both work and live here. When we just look at workers alone, perhaps people who are commuting from outside the area, more than half of them are female too. Macquarie Park, I'm sorry to say for a few of us here, is a little bit middle-aged. 31% of our workforce is in its 40s, and the median age of workers in the park is now 40 to 44 years old. We have more workers than the New South Wales average in the 30 to 54 age range, and we have far fewer workers than the New South Wales average in the under 30 age range. So I'd suggest there's some work to be done there in terms of attracting young people to the park. We are exceptionally globally diverse. 40% of employers in the park were born overseas, with more than the state average coming from Asian countries other than China, coming from India, coming from the UK and the Americas. Just 0.5% of our workforce is comprised of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. Our First Nations brothers and sisters make up 2.8% of the workforce across the state, so there's clearly work to be done there. And lastly, Macquarie Park really is a highly educated place. Everyone has been saying this for some time, but now we have the numbers to prove it. 78% of people who work here hold a bachelor's degree or higher. When we dig down into that educational attainment level, it's quite interesting. And I think it's interesting because I think it's a really unique selling point for our area. As I said, 78% of the workforce here hold a bachelor's degree or higher. That's 2.5 times the state and national averages. 30% of Macquarie Park employees have a master's degree or even a doctorate, and that's 4 times the national rate. We asked people who work here, what do they think about Macquarie Park? What's the vibe, as you might say? 70% of people believe that Macquarie Park has a positive reputation, which is great to hear. And a significant majority believe not only that Macquarie Park is an innovative place, but it's a place where you can thrive too. And this backs up our assertion, Connect's assertion, that Macquarie Park is both Australia's original innovation district and a living culture of innovation today. In an ecosystem of research and collaboration, and dare I say it, competition, trust, of course, is very important. Fewer than 5% of people in the park think that their peers can't be trusted, and 60% think that their peers are trustworthy. And the majority also think that Macquarie Park people are open and collaborative. So again, open, collaborative, trustworthy, these are pretty fantastic attributes for an area where innovation happens. However, 30% of the people who responded told us that they don't necessarily feel that they have a strong sense of community here. So there's a bit of work to be done on that too. We asked people to select the key words that they associate with our area, and the 2 most popular words were traffic and congested. I should say the 2 most popular negative words. They also chose lots of positive words about the area. But traffic and congested, that's perhaps not a surprise. Macquarie Park was designed as a drive-in, drive-out precinct, and it does have a reputation, at least, for being congested. But does that old reputation bear scrutiny in our new reality? Well, some interesting news here. The average travel time to work here in Macquarie Park has decreased from 47 minutes on average in 2019 to 31 to 45 minutes here in the new normal. If Macquarie Park is to continue to grow without growing congestion, it's really important that we sustain those reduced journey times. And certainly the extension of Sydney Metro next year is going to make a big contribution in that, but it's not the only, it's not a silver bullet, it won't fix everything. So there's a role there for employers to play in helping to manage travel demand management. Okay, here's the one that everyone is still talking about. We asked people, what days of the week are you coming to the office? And what day of the week would you prefer to come to the office? And the headline is, nobody wants to come to the office on Friday. But broadly speaking, people are working the days that they would prefer to work. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays look like they're locked in to stay. But we have a bit of an insight on this one based on the conversations we've had with some of the workers in the park, which is if all of your activations and your incentives and your buzz are about bringing people back on Tuesdays, Wednesdays and Thursdays, that will have the effect of reinforcing that it's absolutely not worth being here on Monday and Friday. Obviously, the third spaces which glue our community together, the bars, the shops, the restaurants, they can't survive on a 3-day week. So we do need to be careful here and, to use the language of the pandemic, try and spread the peak. We also asked, what are the facilities that people will come back to their workplace for? And here are the top 5 results. Team and group working space was number 1, and that's unchanged since the last time we asked this question during the lockdown in 2020 and the lockdown in 2021. So that's very consistent. Dedicated workstations and parking are next in line, followed by informal meeting and socializing spaces and dining and food options. So maybe we've all had enough of those lockdown sandwiches working at home by ourselves. I know I certainly have. Now, desks and parking, I think a lot of people say that because they feel quite attached to those spaces, but they are bookable assets that can be managed. So if we exclude those 2 items, what we're left with is team space, socializing space, and eating space. That's 3 things that people are looking to their office for, which facilitate togetherness and social interaction. And I think that this redefines what the purpose of your workplace is as a social gathering space instead of just a processing space and rows of desks. I'd suggest this is a key takeaway which will really help to inform our decisions for the area going forward. So, what's next? Well, data will continue to inform all of the work that Connect Macquarie Park Innovation District does more broadly. Next month, we will publish a new report for our members, which is packed with new data about the size and the scale of the opportunity that the extension of the Metro line represents. This is the most significant public investment in our area for a decade, and this new report will show you not just what Metro means for Macquarie Park, but new analysis which will reveal what the 30-minute commute catchment zone will become for Macquarie Park. It means that an awful lot more talent in Sydney will be able to get here a lot more easily. The data I've shown you, the report I've highlighted, and indeed the ability to be on this stage at this event are just a few of the benefits of being a member of Connect Macquarie Park Innovation District. As a stakeholder-led association, I'd like to express certainly my gratefulness to our members for helping to make our impact possible. If your logo isn't on this screen and you think it ought to be, the bar is still open and I'm very happy to have a chat after this event. On your desks is a new prospectus, Discover Macquarie Park Innovation District, which is packed with data about the area. And there's also a feedback form, which I hope you'll take a moment to complete so that we can improve this journey over time. Tonight, hopefully some of you had an opportunity to meet some of the incredible innovators working in our park from the CSIRO and Macquarie University incubators. Together, we acknowledged Wallamatical Country and we reflected on our position as Sydney's greenest CBD. You heard about the new Deep Tech labs and the multi-million-dollar RNA manufacturing facility which is coming here. And you flew through the workplaces of the future which are being built in Macquarie Park. You considered the role of government in helping to make it all happen and the data which can help us to guide it all going forward. So I hope you'll all agree that it's a very, very exciting time in Macquarie Park Innovation District, and I hope that you feel moved to strengthen your involvement here. So on behalf of both the Board of Directors of Connect Macquarie Park Innovation District, I'd like to thank my team, Cheryl and Lucy, we're small and mighty as a team, for putting an enormous amount of effort into making this evening possible. And indeed, I'd like to thank all of you for coming here to Optus to spend the time with us. Thank you very much. The bar is open. Good evening.